Are you unsatisfied with the current state of your relationship and longing for the relationship you know you deserve? And ready to learn how to make it a reality? If you're tired of drama, conflict, and disappointment, and ready for real, true love, and a deep, fulfilling relationship, then it's time for you to turn your love around and write your relationship vision. The goal of this training is for you to leave understanding the 3 steps I use to move forward after a broken relationship, so you can gain confidence that you can move forward and live committed to your values until Mr. Right for you comes along. Today I'm going to shatter 3 beliefs that many women have after leaving a broken relationship. Belief number 1, starting over is hard to do. I don't have the energy to move forward. Belief number 2, I've wasted a lot of time trying to move forward and nothing seems to work. Belief number 3, I spent a lot of money, wasted a lot of time, and Googled a bunch of self-help topics, but nothing has helped me move forward, and I'm still stuck at square one. So what makes this class different? Question: have you ever met a man and felt like he was the one? I mean, the love bug bit hard, and he did everything right. Returned phone calls, showed up on time, replied to text messages, and even called you for no reason at all. So here you go, investing time with him, spending money on him, getting emotionally tied to him, and then the unthinkable happens. And just like that, you commit to him physically, hoping he feels about you the way you feel about him. But in the days to come, the situation turns grim. He used to flood your phone with text messages of how you were the one, and now no text message, no phone calls, not even a "how you doing?" He went ghost. Can you believe it? Now you're wondering, how did I let this happen? How did I let him in? Now comes the emotions of self-doubt, and you start thinking you're not good enough and wondering if you'll ever get it right. So what makes this class different? Well, I understand how it feels. I do understand how it feels. When you've been with a man that didn't treat you right, but for some reason you keep going back to him regardless of what he does, hoping and believing he will change. I gave the power of who I was as a woman to someone who did not love me because I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what true love was and based it on a feeling. Now I know I'm not alone. I didn't know what love looked like because I didn't have an example in my home of what true love was. So I took his words as love, even though most of the time he never lived up to his words. So yes, I understand how it feels to keep allowing him to come in and out of your life even after he's done you wrong, and to want to break free of the thoughts of him that are plaguing you but don't know how. I fantasized about how our life would be, and so I forced a relationship by giving him what I thought would keep him, all while he never gave me what I needed or deserved. Do I have a witness? I know I do. So you cannot say, I don't get you, because I used to be you. And you can't say, it worked for her, but it won't work for me, because remember, I used to be you. And you can't even ask, how do I know this will work? Because once again, I used to be you. See, I did a lot of things wrong, but I discovered this the hard way so you wouldn't have to. After being in the wrong relationship, it left me feeling hopeless, ashamed, embarrassed, and rejected. I carried a suitcase filled with unhealthy emotions because I didn't know how to unpack them and move on. My self-worth was attached to somebody I thought loved me, but he really only tolerated me as long as he was getting what he wanted. After leaving that ungodly relationship, I learned how to take off the mask of guilt, the mask of shame, the mask of hurt, and the mask of resentment I wore too long. I learned how to love myself, and then I freed myself. I went from feeling resentful for the time I wasted with him, sad, afraid, and having fears of being alone, to loving the woman in the mirror, having confidence in who she was, being clear about what she wanted, and staying committed until I got what I believed I deserved. I was happier than I had ever been before. And suddenly, it wasn't suddenly. It was actually a year later, but it felt suddenly. He walked into my life. A man who made plans for us. A man with a vision for his life, which included me. A man with a job and everything else I thought I wanted, and so much more. I didn't have to convince him of my love. I didn't have to convince him I was the one. He saw in me what I saw in myself. A confident woman who was clear about what she wanted and committed to her values. I met my husband on February the 18th, 1988, and we wed March 18th, 1989, 11 months later. I was clear about what I wanted. I was confident I could have it. And I stayed true to who I was until Mr. Right for me came along. It wasn't easy, but it was certainly worth it. Hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Patricia Shaw. I've been mentoring young women since I was 25, and then I stepped over into leading women at 35. And then at age 45, I became a certified professional coach, empowering women in life and love. Since becoming a coach, I've positively impacted the life of more than 1,000 women via one-to-one coaching, workshops, seminars, and group coaching sessions, both virtually and in live settings. Imagine, if you will, being an inspiring woman. filled with confidence, who loves who she is, and is steamrolling toward any success you can imagine. These results are not typical. I once overthought everything, and being in a marriage is not the place for that. I felt as though what happened in my past relationships could happen in my marriage. After being coached by Patricia, I had a whole new look on things. No, not overnight, but with the constant coaching from her. She is awesome and completely understood how I felt. I've been married now over 3 years, and I love everything about us. And from only knowing each other for 3 weeks before he proposed, Patricia also brought to my attention that you will never stop learning each other in a relationship. As we grow older, the mindset does change. Thanks, Patricia. That's from Jennifer. Tina said, since coaching with Patricia, I learned how to break free from my past and move forward. I now have the love I desired and deserve. And after 10 months of dating, we are now engaged to be married. And guess what? Tina is married. And they celebrated 2 years this year. I've gained the confidence I needed to set boundaries in my relationships through Patricia's coaching. I am no longer afraid that I will be alone. My security lies in God. I refuse to repeat the cycle. That's what my client Trisha said. And Mari said, I had a conversation with the guy who was my soul tie, and when he questioned me about things we no longer did, he asked, why do I deprive myself? He asked me who I was and I told him I'm different now. He couldn't believe it, and I told him I dug deep into my soul and didn't like what I saw. So now I write it all away. All the things I shouldn't be thinking, I write them all away. He said it was deep. Every time I have those thoughts again, it motivates me to write about it and expose the enemy. That's deep. And that's what is healing me. Patricia, because of your training, I'm spiritually stronger, and I don't know where I would be had we not connected and not had your words of wisdom and helping me challenge myself. Thank you so much. So these are the 3 steps I use to move forward after a broken relationship. And before you can write your vision of how you want your relationship to be, you first have to move forward. Let go of the past. Leave the past in the past so you can make forward steps. That's how. And that's what we'll be talking about today. Secret number 1, acknowledge. My old way of thinking. I lost myself in someone who didn't know who he was, where he was going in life, or what he wanted out of it. I thought I needed a man to validate my worth, but that was up to me. My new way of thinking. Instead of blaming him for what happened, I had to get honest with myself and find out why I kept doing what I was doing, and how even when my soul was saying no, my body was saying yes. I wasted energy trying to move forward because I didn't know how. See, it takes a real woman to look in the mirror and identify what's working for her and what's not, and make some changes. Step and secret number 2, identify. My old way of thinking. I didn't know my worth, so how could I expect someone else to know it? I thought sex was the key to every good relationship, but it's not. So now what? My new way of thinking. On a sheet of paper, I listed every good quality I possessed that made me the person I was. Then I listed qualities in myself I didn't like, and I started challenging myself to become a different type of woman. When I started working on myself, I started becoming confident in the woman in the mirror, and I soon learned how to tell who wanted my body parts versus who wanted my heart. I wasted money trying to move forward because I didn't know who could help me. Secret number 3, recognize. My old way of thinking. I was choosing him over me. It was always about what he wanted out of the relationship and not about what I needed. I was allowing a man to choose me, which made me feel like I had won a prize when he chose me. I don't know about you, but that's not a good place to be. My old way of thinking. I was choosing a man based on fleshly qualities, and there was no real connection, no direction, no progression, and it withered like dead grass. My new way of thinking, and I want you to write these 5 ways, and this is how you can choose who you want to be with. This is one way that you can choose. Mentally, does he arouse my intellect? Spiritually, does he have a plan for his life? Psychologically, does he play mind games, or is he truthful with me and himself? Emotionally, does he show concern about my emotional well-being? Because if he doesn't show concern about your emotional well-being while you're dating, imagine what will happen when you get married. Physically, sex is not an award for good behavior. It took time for me to become the woman I wanted to be. It did not happen overnight. I failed a few times even after walking out of that relationship, but I was determined to do it God's way this time. So what if you could have more confidence, which leads to less pain, greater clarity, which leads to less frustration, stronger commitment in who you are, which leads to better decision making, a proven roadmap, which saves you from wasting time, and a coach who knows how you feel, which saves you a lot of energy, and a coach who has been where you are. Now, that will save you the frustration of trying to figure it out all on your own. So, changing mindsets changes family structures, changing perceptions. That changes how you feel about yourself. Changing personas. That changes how you see yourself. Changing your ideals, your beliefs. Changes how you think about yourself. And then changing your direction. That changes your progression, which allows you to move forward. And that's what you want to do. So I wasted time trying to move forward because I didn't know what to do. But today, I'm walking you through the exact steps that helped me turn my love around.